Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Total Space live stream. Today we are, how would you explain? A very, very long live stream. Maybe not entirely hosted by the team, but you'll be able to see fantastic views of the Artemis 1 rocket roll to the pad. Today I am joined by Miko.
Hello. It will be an interesting evening to watch the SLS go, and you know, it it's the most powerful rocket if we don't count Starship. So let's go.
Yeah.
And Jack, you have some specs on the SLS. I think NASA just pushed the stream back 30 minutes. So I think we have
Yeah.
time
We have
for
time to
your
stall.
little presentation.
I had this presentation to last me for till about 12 o'clock, and now it is going to last me about 20 minutes, but may as well. Um, so the SLS stack consists of two 5-segment rocket boosters. Those are from the shuttle deprived era and have flown on several shuttle missions and were landed via parachute and reuse. But for SLS, they decided not to reuse the solid rocket boosters. It is now one and done. What do you think of that? Okay, no problem. I think they have a view of the VAB. I believe this producer is AFK at the moment, but we can go past that. Right. Remember I was saying about the boosters will not be reflown because they were from the shuttle era and it's 5 segments and it's one and done. What do you think of that? Yeah. I oh yeah, I saw that. It is delayed. No, not delayed. I was just looking at a message there. The time scale that these boosters can sit after first being stacked has been extended to 18 months by Northrop Grumman. That is the manufacturer of solid rocket boosters. Well, I
Yeah,
believe that maybe because of the propellants and highly abrasive, I believe, substances inside the SRBs, and this could cause some problems for the booster. Well, the solid rocket booster, the big orange rocket should be fine.
yeah,
In the middle is the I believe. Oh, well, let's go to the solid rocket boosters actually produce about 75% of the thrust on liftoff. Um, you wouldn't think that suggests that these engines at the bottom of the core are there's more of them and they're from the shuttle, but solid rocket boosters produce most of the thrust on liftoff. So the engines at the bottom are RL10s, I believe, not RS25. Sorry, and they're fueled with fuel, obviously, an oxidizer that would be liquid oxygen. Um,
yeah, and the upper stage.
yeah,
Yeah,
that that is produced by Boeing, I believe. I
I
think.
I think it's Aerojet Rocketdyne.
Oh.
I'm not completely sure, but let me check. You can go ahead.
I believe the um the engines at the bottom of the rocket are from Aerojet Rocketdyne. But the second stage, the setting stage, it's an RL-10 engine, and that was actually it was produced by ULA, I believe, and it's
I I
capable.
just I just checked, and that's actually also done by Aerojet Rocketdyne.
That's
So
okay.
so all the liquid engines are by Aerojet Rocketdyne.
All right, I got absolute owned there. I don't know where I got that information from. Um, do. Some other stuff is that where am I? Oh yeah, these soldiers. These. All right. Okay.
Uh, right, we are
Um.
getting some
Yeah.
views from the NASA TV behind us. Yeah,
Oh. Yeah.
now we
Whoa,
can
that's a nice
actually
view.
see something.
Whoa. Right. I'm just looking at what we see here. I believe we do see the crew access arm at the left. Well, it depends where you're facing it, but it looks like the left. And
Yeah,
Mr. Producer is blocking my view. All right, okay, there we go. So we just see all the hoses connected. Those will likely provide cooling to the capsule to keep a stable atmosphere inside that capsule. And also we see under it the service module that's produced by ESA in Europe.
yeah, yeah. The European service module has been ready for quite a few years already, so it's not as late as the whole SLS project in whole.
Did you see today, by the way, talking? I know it's not exactly, but did you see what Netflix announced in a documentary for space?
Yeah, yeah. I saw that trailer. It was well, it was great, and I will definitely be watching it on April 7th, if I
It's
remember the date
yeah,
correct.
that is
So
correct. It's quite like I don't know. It must be like past footage because I doubt that Netflix were there on scene to record that, or that I believe it probably would have been released by now because I doubt it would have took 2 years
yeah,
after
I
recording.
mean, yeah, I think they have had quite a few opportunities to make some material, and yeah, it was with Bob and Doug. So
Yeah,
NASA does have quite a lot of material, and I think maybe they have done some interviews at least after, but maybe even before, if the documentary was already in minds before the launch.
possibly. I do wonder, see on that capsule right there, that is a board tower. I severely doubt that those towers will be like armed though. Like for Artemis 1, as there's no crew. I suppose there could be, but I don't see the point, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, no crew for the first one.
Yeah.
Crewed flight will be the second Artemis mission that will fly around the moon, and I think
Yeah.
the third one is the moon landing.
They were actually thinking about putting crew on the first SLS launch. That'd be a crazy decision. That was
Yeah,
considered.
well, NASA did kind of certify it from the start for human space flight. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it would kind of be risky, but they did the same with space shuttle.
Yeah, true. I get that point. But I suppose shuttle had to be crewed
Yeah,
because of all
I
its
mean,
systems.
yeah, yeah. Today's culture is well. NASA can't fail.
Yep.
That's
One of these
basically it.
yep. One of these streams I need to read out my English essay that I hope to get an A on why the space shuttle was a failure. That is not the best thing to do as a space fan, but it was needed.
Yeah.
Um
Well,
yeah.
yeah, space shuttle was just not reusable enough and too expensive. And
Yep.
when the politicians decided they had to design something, they couldn't really take the physics for the design that nicely in
Yeah,
account.
absolutely. This I'm just making sure here that um this rocket is going to 39 pad 39B. This pad has been pretty much, I wouldn't say abandoned, it's also been maintained. It's been had several upgrades to accommodate the SLS stack. Um
Yeah,
but it was proposed to possibly have a spot for Omega rockets, but that project was cancelled back in 2020.
yeah. Yeah, actually, we do have some good comments, and yeah, good evening,
Yeah.
Max Q and Justini. And Max
Yeah,
Q
good
Aerospace
evening.
is saying shuttle definitely needed to be crewed because they didn't have the technology to be completely autonomous. I mean, I
Yeah,
do think they could have done it, but yeah, they didn't have the tech. But
yeah,
I think it was around, well, under 10 years later, Soviet Union launched the Buran rocket or Buran
yeah,
shuttle, and that was completely autonomous. So
yeah.
I think Americans could have done it as well.
Upgrades at 39B consisted of removing some structures, but they kept the spears at the edges of the pad. You know what, I like to link stuff to Starship, so here we go, little link. When at 39A, it is possible that they could use those spears the same as at 39B to hold methane and locks to those spears were used to hold hydrogen, I believe, for um space shuttle. They could possibly
Yeah,
repurpose those tanks to hold methane and locks for the full Starship stack. They're pretty cool.
yeah, I think so too. But the ones used for space shuttle, I think those were. I'm not sure if those are enough for Starship. Starship may have to have bigger tanks.
I believe those spears have enough volume to fill a whole stack, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's very possible. I haven't looked into
Yeah,
it. But yeah, thinking of hydrogen is not
yeah.
dense. So yeah, that
Oh
could
yeah.
be true. Ox is the
Um
one, the gas they
yeah.
need or the liquid they need the most.
Yep. Right, let's get back to Artemis again. So the mission plan for Artemis 1 is at 2 minutes into launch, we will have solid rocket booster separation. I believe that's 28 miles above the ground. Then we're at 3 minutes and 40 seconds, we will have service module panels and launch abort system jettisoned. This is, but before we do that, um, before they launch, they will have to do a wet dress rehearsal. That's fueling the vehicle up to T minus 10 seconds, then simulating a abort scenario. Well, not a boat, it's not a boat. Uh um yeah. Right, so what was I gonna say? Yeah. So they will go from 10 seconds, and then they will simulate a scrub for the day, I suppose, and detank.
Yeah,
Obviously, no engines will be fired. Solid rocket boosters cannot be stopped.
exactly.
Unless you want to stop some, unless you want to have a refuel button on the solid rocket boosters, a static fire is not possible.
Yeah, I think they are not doing a static fire. I think they will do just with dress
Yeah, that probably,
rehearsal.
yeah. I think
And
that's what the hot run was for.
yeah, and yeah, just
Um,
rolling out to the pad 11 hours, then do wet dress rehearsal and roll back.
Yeah, and at that point they will remove all test equipment, I believe. So that will be like all the sensors, all the things that will not go for flight. They'll also most likely arm the FTS. I don't know if that's been done already, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no idea.
So 8 minutes into launch, we will get main engine cut off and core stage separation. That is 98 miles above the ground. We'll then get solar panel deployment at 301 miles above the ground. That is 16 minutes into flight. At 54 minutes into flight, we will get pedigree raise maneuver. That is obviously raise at orbit, getting ready for the translunar injection, which takes place at 1 hour and 25 minutes. We'll then get the separation of the ICPS, and then we will have a 4 day, well, 1 to 4 day coasting phase. This will then get a lunar gravity assist at 4 days, 7 hours, and 18 minutes. And then we'll have a return powered flyby at 20 days. We'll then get crew and service module separation at 25 days. And at 25 days, 11 hours, and 34 minutes, re entry begins. At 25 days and 12 hours, we have parachute deployment sequence, and we will have splashdown of the capsule. Then it will be took out the ocean by the US Navy.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
yeah, quite an interesting timeline.
Yes, it is.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
did you have something on the timeline, or shall I take a question?
Yeah, take a question, no problem.
Yeah, okay. So Max Q commented that LC-39B was last used by RS-1X in
Oh, that
2009.
rocket.
So that's quite a while. I think that rocket was the solid booster monster of a
Yes.
rocket that
Well,
shouldn't really exist.
yeah, it was a 5 segment rocket booster, with a boiler on this test mission. It was a boilerplate upper stage,
Yeah,
and it was a solid rocket booster had a boat system. That is the best way to say it.
yeah, yeah. And it was at some point thought that it could be used for crewed missions, but then at some point NASA even did some research that it would probably be deadly in case of an abort because
Yeah.
the
Whoa!
solid
Look at that
rocket
drone shot.
boosters. Yeah, yeah, nice aerial view.
I don't know if it's a
Yeah,
helicopter or a drone. You can never tell. Most like a helicopter, I would say.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's flying quite fast, so I would guess it's a helicopter.
Yeah. Um, I would. Right, let's talk about the thing that will take the stack to. I keep on saying stack because I'm so used to Starship. What do you even call it? Rocket to the pad, I suppose.
Yeah,
um,
rocket.
um, this is a crawler transporter. It has a mass of 2,721 tons. That is one heavy vehicle.
Yeah,
It has 8 tracks, 2 in each corner, and it cannot turn for the life of it.
yeah,
Each track has 57 shoes, and each shoe weighs 900 kilograms. The vehicle measures 40 by 35 meters, 131 by 100. That is 131 by 114 feet. Um,
and we can actually
it
see it on the live views at the moment. Just peeking out of the VAB.
Yeah, I believe it drives at a grand It's rapid, 0.5 miles per hour.
Yeah, sounds about right for a 11-hour journey.
Yeah, because it's about a 4 mile drive, but it's probably going to be slower than that at points. It has two control cabs located at either end. I had a look at that view. Whoa, that is nice. We see
Nice.
the interstage between the core stage and um the second stage of the SLS rocket. This rocket was actually fully stacked back in September, I believe. November, September. But it was
Yeah,
just all
well,
the work.
yeah, it has had quite a few launch dates already. I think the first date it was supposed to fly was in 2016 or
Oh,
2018.
yeah. I wonder what SLS's weight compared to shuttle is. I'm guessing it would be slightly heavier because of like I had a setting. Guess the shuttle would. Oh, that's a hard question. I'm going to ask the audience that question. What do you think's heavier, the shuttle or SLS?
My opinion would actually be the shuttle, but
Could
I'm
be.
I'm not sure since
Possibly.
you know the basically SLS has most of the structure that the shuttle had, and then shuttle had, well, the shuttle, and
Yeah.
it was not not that light structure.
Yeah. Um. But SLS, Mr. Producer, has given us the inside info here. Well, not inside info, little Google search, I suppose. SLS has more mass.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, I can agree to that. It does have the a bit lengthier SRBs, so that must make
Yeah,
some difference. And of
possibly.
course, there are also the launch escape systems, um,
Yeah,
and the fuel for the second stage. Yeah, there's quite a bit, and also one engine more.
yeah. This, I believe, the first three missions of SLS will carry shuttle era engines. Everyone's wondering why didn't they keep the space shuttle engines on shuttle when they went to museums? That is why. Welcome to Angry Astronaut in chat. Hope you're
Welcome,
doing good.
welcome.
Thank you for joining us for this rollout of SLS. At in European time or Scottish time, as you can tell by my accent, it is 9:23. It will be a late one, folks.
Yeah, yeah. At least for us Europeans, since it's going to take the whole night to roll out, I'm not going to be awake for all of that.
Talking about Scotland, we'll soon be having hopefully a Scotsman joining us. We should hopefully have Rich joining us in the near future.
Yeah,
So this core has it underwent a hot fire. Well, kind of actually underwent two hot fires per se. One aborted, one for
yeah,
duration.
yeah. It indeed did.
Um, it was then refurbished, well inspected, refurbished some parts to make sure all was good on the rocket ahead of stacking. Then, so I want to tell. Oh yeah, I did tell you about what a wet rehearsal is. What are we here? Have like so much info to go through.
Yeah, and
So
in the chat, there's talk about the payload capacity of SLS. So the block 1 is 95 tons, and block
Yeah.
1B would be 105 tons, but I doubt that will ever see the light of day.
Yeah. I've just realised something. I don't think I've ever seen a photo of like SLS cargo variant.
Yeah.
Like just like the variant that'll take like modules.
Yeah, I think we will only see crude SLS fly, and not many of those. Maybe,
Possibly.
yeah, maybe around 5 SLS in total before Starship
Yeah.
takes over the field.
Do you ever think, see if we say, oh, SLS is costing us too much money, do you think they'll go turn to commercial partners like they do in the ISS?
What do you say again?
So, do you think they will like go to see if SLS is like say too expensive or too complex?
Yeah, definitely.
Would they think they would go to commercial partners again, like on ISS?
I mean, SLS will never fly to ISS. It's just,
That that's no, that's not what I need to explain myself here more. Right, so you know what the kind of thing they're doing on the ISS with commercial crew? You think they'll do that same kind of idea with like the same kind of structure, getting commercial
Mhm.
partners to be able to do like moon landings, etc.
I mean, yeah, I could see that happening around 2030.
What do you
E-
think? Yeah.
yeah, moon landings or Mars flights, they would do something like commercial crew at some point.
Yeah, Elon Musk's current prediction of when humans will land on Mars is 2029. I'm still think that's kind of optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, if we get to the moon by 2026, I'm pretty happy. Uh,
I
I'm
think I
I'm
think they
not that.
might
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
I think they might get a Starship cargo to touch down on Mars by then, but not crew.
Well, if we are not flying crew to Mars this decade, I'm not sure if they would be launching in 2026 with any
Hmm.
cargo. I mean, I think the first cargo variants would be 2 or well maybe 4 years before crewed flight to Mars. The
Yeah.
4 year margin would be good in that way that if you fail, you can correct the mistakes.
Is that not what shuttle to SLS was? I really hate the
That,
shuttle.
that's a long and difficult road. I mean, it was supposed to be easy to make
Yeah.
flight certified hardware fly again.
According to NASA, SLS is actually heavier than the shuttle. What I guess. What I guess
Yeah,
on my part.
yeah.
Um, Shuttle's external tank's bigger. Well, maybe not by height because the shuttle is quite stubby.
Yeah, and the shuttle did have just one tank for hydrogen. And SLS does have 2 different tanks for the first stage and the second stage.
True, but I thought like the actual shuttle vehicle would have added some weight.
Yeah,
Need that hydration,
of course.
I'm going to ask, talking about food and drink, I'm going to ask chat, has anyone here tried, well, is it called astronaut food now? Astro food? Yeah.
I didn't.
Uh, Oh, NASA has pushed back the rollback another 15 minutes. Imagine they get in the crawler, just won't start. Get the jump leads.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this was expected. If you can't launch an SLS in 2018 and launch it 4 years later, I mean, why would we think the rollout would be on time?
Yeah, true. Crazy how those two high bays, like, crazy how, yeah, I think you need to be there in person to see to take in how big the VAB actually is.
Well, it's, I think, maybe around 120 meters. I don't remember on the top of my head.
Yeah. Um, that second high bay as well, that's just sitting for storage at the moment, because they already outfitted the first one to do SLS with all those platforms, etc. Because obviously in that 11 year, is it 11? Well, 10, 11 year period, they had to obviously change all the platforms from shuttle support platforms to SLS support platforms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rebuilding the pad for SLS did take quite a lot of money. I think it was at least $1 billion.
yeah. That second highway, I hope one day can be filled by a commercial user. I doubt they will see Starship rolling out there, but I think they'll get a very cool integration facility.
I think they will build their own for the Starship.
Yeah, possibly. We're
It's
still
it,
awaiting first motion. You're only half an hour late.
well, I mean, it was kind of supposed to start on the hour. Now we are half an hour late, and it will take another 15.
Yep. My SLS has moved more than my SLS model has moved more in the past. Most likely moved. Well, my SLS model has moved the exact same than the SLS model right here. None at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's not much.
Right. Once the crew access arm has been retracted, SLS will roll. Do do do. Is I thought I'm confused here. Oh yeah, is the crew access arm not connected to the cellar structure? Because I was going to say, I'm just trying to think there.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
actually
connected.
sure.
Yeah, because I don't. There's not like a launch tower at 39B. I don't believe. It's only what rolls up in the crawler transporter.
Yeah, could be on the pad, but Hyperspace Ace had a good comment. My cat has moved my SLS model more than SLS in the last year.
That is true.
Yeah,
It's
good on
pretty
you.
sad to be honest.
Yeah. Well, actually, SLS did move to
Right,
static fire last year.
jacking has started. I believe 2 seconds. Let me just confirm this. Do. I need my confirmation. Where am I? And right, I'm just trying to get it. I
Yeah,
saw something and
Max do.
I
Yeah, it did indeed look like crew access arm or some kind of access arm.
yeah, but could be. Right,
Well,
jacking has started on the mobile launch pad and crawler to allow the crawler to take the load of the launch pad and rocket. Um,
okay.
NASA currently has first motion set for earliest 5:45, but that is always subject to delays. Whoop whoop.
Yeah.
Of so
Yeah.
jacking has begun. That is obviously. How would you even like? How would you even jack up a vehicle that weight? Is the question.
Slowly.
Just slowly and carefully.
Yeah. That would be a 2 billion crash.
Probably more than 2 billion because you're doing a crawl transport as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Um,
Let's see if the rocket rolls out before I have to go to sleep.
what time is it where you are?
It's 25 minutes to midnight. So no, not in that big of a hurry yet.
Yeah. Is this vehicle going to end up more expensive than shuttle? I believe it possibly
I
could.
yeah, I think SLS is the most expensive rocket after Saturn V.
Ready for a civilian space rant?
Uh,
So, right, they got rid of the shuttle because it was too expensive. That was partially one of the reasons, right?
mhm.
And they replace it with a vehicle which is immensely high risk and complex. Oh, that's just shuttle. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe shuttle. And yeah,
Yep.
the biggest crash for NASA this year could be a few trillion dollar crash if Russia and USA can't get their friendship intact if they were to deorbit the ISS.
I didn't. I would. I was thinking I wouldn't have put it past Russia to leave Mark Van der Heij.
I think Mark Van der Heij will get safely back home.
Yeah, they have agreed that he's coming home. I believe.
Yeah, it won't be a problem. And I kind of see the Rogozin threats as quite empty threats.
Yeah. Also, NASA sent out an email recently to astronauts saying to stop, like ex-astronauts saying to stop. Well, I wouldn't say threatening, but like engaging with Russian officials because
Yeah,
it can diminish the relationship on ISS.
yeah, they shouldn't be antagonizing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and mostly it was probably because of Scott Kelly, who was tweeting at Rogozin. And
Yep.
when he's an astronaut, he had to learn Russian so he can
Yeah.
actually speak fluent Russian, and that's actually a good thing. So
Yeah. They
he
were.
can affect his Russian followers on Twitter, and
They were
he will keep
also.
continuing that.
Yeah.
But as an official NASA astronaut, he will
Yeah.
do it as like a personal
Yeah.
thing.
I wonder if there's any NASA astronauts in Star City as well. It could, because I believe
Uh,
they want to do the crew swap, but I don't know if that'll change after Vanda Highlands.
I kind of think US will fly on their own vehicles and Russia will fly on their Soyuz. In this, I think it was Anna Kikina who was supposed to fly on Crew Dragon, but
Wait, this is a weird one, but it could possibly work. See, in the worst case scenario, they did leave Mark. Could they say to Axiom, yo, why our crew's left up there? We'll buy one of the seats off you for a future flight or something. Can we go and
yeah,
get a crew member back? And go and
yeah,
fetch Mark well on Axiom 1 or move it up?
yeah, that will be interesting. And did you know, at least at some point, they did have a gun on Soyuz.
Yeah, it was. But I talk about this with someone in school at some points. It's because because they could land anywhere. Bales, Scottish junkies.
Yeah, yeah. The bears are most likely, or maybe wolves.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I don't know what's the more dangerous, to be honest.
And let's read a few comments.
Yeah, let's
Hyperspace
go.
A said, "My cat works for Jeff Bezos." Yeah, there's some corruption money.
ULA sniper.
And yeah, shuttle was more complex and high risk. And we did have an internal view a bit ago from the SLS. And Max Q is saying, even if they left Mark, SpaceX would send a Crew Dragon to fetch him. Yeah, absolutely. They would have to do some kind of remote training, though. So that would add maybe few weeks to a month for his
Yeah,
time to be
just
there.
like Zoom, like just get the phone on ISS and just like it's like this is the crew control panel. This is what you do.
Yeah.
Blah blah. It'd be quite hard on the ground, but I believe that they probably get some sort of training on either vehicles on the ground, just in case. In the worst case scenario, they need to use another vehicle as a lifeboat.
Yeah.
They'll probably like, get like the basic controls and all that, and as you said, they'll get like some sort of lesson if that happens over radio.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a real danger on ISS, it would be an inevitable, fast, quick danger. I mean, they could even go without their suits to the Crew
Right,
Dragon.
Mr. Producer, can you show my cam quick a question about Max Q? Max Q, this. Oh, I know I've turned out a potato quickly there, but I have been to Tim Peak. Yeah, I have been to Tim Peak. It was actually really good. I got this autographed, the autographed book. It's really inspirational. Um, so I'm just waiting for reset. Right, okay. So this is my Tim Peak book. You can see it right here. I went back to this in November. It was actually really inspirational. It showed about his trip on Soyuz, his training, and on ISS. It was also quite humorous the way he talked about some of the situations on ISS and the docking maneuvers and how they solved them. It was actually it was really like as a space fan, it's really good to get to know this kind of stuff from astronauts. I wish more astronauts done it, to be honest.
Yeah, nice. When did Tim Peake go to the ISS? Do you remember which year was it?
Let me get my book out.
I mean, I haven't read that book, but I did
2015
read.
first time.
Say again?
First time is 2025. No, not
Right.
2025. 2015, sorry. Thinking of the
2015.
future, not the past.
Yeah. Yeah, 2015 for 6 months. And I did read a book by Scott Kelly, who was antagonizing the Russians. And it's a pretty long book. I was listening it as an audiobook. Maybe it was around 12 hours or so, but it was a really interesting book. It went through all the training, and of course there's some parts about his personal life, but mostly it was about the life on the ISS.
I have a book that I read sometimes. It's called Liftoff.
Yep.
It's by...
I know. Yeah, a book by Eric Berger. I would say it's the best book from last year.
Yeah.
So if you haven't checked out Liftoff by Eric Berger, You
Yeah.
need to. It's about
Shows
SpaceX
about how
history.
SpaceX was born.
Yeah,
Mr. Producer, can you show me chat, please?
yeah. It's a great
Thanks.
story.
Yeah.
And I did actually do a video about SpaceX early history that was mostly based on the book. So feel free to check that out on our channel as well.
Our legal team is saying to us this is not sponsored by Eric or Tim Peake. Talking about, I just saw a question up chat there. Did you remember the phrase "last night's pee is this morning's cup of tea"? Yes, I do. Actually, surprisingly, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. Scott Kelly also talked about that in his book.
Eric Berger is accused on Twitter of being several things I'm not going to mention. I think you can
Yeah.
figure that out yourself. Um,
Okay, Hyperspaces is asking, has anybody read Ignition? I have not, but
no,
I will
haven't.
definitely check it out.
Talking. Let's move on to TV shows. Have any of you watched For All Mankind?
I have, and
No
I think
spoil. Don't want to spoil. Don't want
yeah,
to spoil. I just realized.
yeah. I'm not going to spoil. It's a good series, but I think it has only 50% of space content and 50% of politics. So for it to be a great show, it would need to be 100% space.
Right, guys, don't
So
click away. We're not spoiling. We're not that kind of person.
yeah,
What
but
do you?
sometimes it got a bit boring, but it was a great series and still
Right,
is.
Yep. Moving on. Of any, I know it's a weird show of Space Force.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was on
that was
Netflix.
a fun one. Has there been released a second season?
Yeah, that was released here.
Yeah, I've seen the first season, but I need to check if the second season has indeed come. I will need to check that.
Going to chat, I'm going to ask you a question. Have any of you watched Moonfall? I watched it. It was actually pretty good. But see, after you're a space fan, it ruins the movie completely. I'm not spoiling. I'm
Yeah,
not spoiling. I'm not going to spoil. Aye. Right. But after you're a space fan, it ruins the movie completely sometimes because you see some stuff. You're like, that would never be possible in real life. That wouldn't do that. That wouldn't do that. That wouldn't be possible. They wouldn't survive that. Blah blah blah.
yeah. I don't remember what Moonfall was, but I will need to check if I have seen it. But yeah, Hyperspace is saying Ignition, an informal history of liquid rocket propellants. So yeah, that's something I should read and maybe develop a liquid rocket engine. Not likely to happen.
I know I may get criticised here, but I've never watched The Martian.
You have missed a lot.
Mm.
It's a good one, the book and the movie. And Andy Weir, who was the writer, he has two other good books. First one, or the book after Martian, is called Artemis. It's actually
Yeah.
happening on the moon. There's a moon base. There's a
We may
female
have
lead
first motion. We
character.
may have first motion. I'm just checking this. The
Ooh,
banners went away.
it seems like it's maybe about to happen. Yeah, I can see NASA pushed back the lift, the rollout to on the hour. So maybe in about 10 minutes.
Get it.
And
Yeah.
the third book by Andy Weir, I think that might even be the best. It's quite a bit more futuristic. Mm,
Hmm.
I'm not
Live from the Vehicle
sure what
Assembly
the
Building at
name
Kennedy
was.
Space Center.
I
This
will
is
I will
live
check
coverage
that.
of the first rollout of NASA's Mega Moon rocket.
We have NASA audio confirmed.
All right.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
They like
Copyrighted
to
music.
spoil these creators with copyright. And NASA is fully live, but copyright.
Yeah. When the music has gone, we will be enabling the sound and listening in.
Is the moon made of cheese a spoiler? Is the question. I wouldn't say so because of the plot of the movie.
Right. The third Andy Weir book is named Project Hail Mary. That was a really interesting one.
SLS has begun to move apparently.
Well, it would be good if NASA actually would show us some
Whoa,
views.
that is some beautiful view. That is some beautiful view. Oh, look at that! Whoa.
All right.
This reminds me of that kind of view. Like, remember that kind of video where they pushed out the Delta Heavy? Like, where except the hangar rolls away from the rocket, is the other way around. The rocket rolls away from the hangar.
By rolling this integrated system out of the VAB
Right.
for the
Let's
time
let's
ever.
listen
That
in
roll
to
started
the
just
NASA
a few
commentary for a
seconds
while.
ago, and now both
Yep,
SLS
I need
and
to get audio on
Orion
my
are
end.
headed to
Just
historic launch pad 39B for a critical test
fine,
that will help
I'll try
determine
not to be
if we
deafened.
are ready for Artemis 1.
Yeah.
Artemis 1 is an uncrewed test flight of SLS, Orion,
See,
and
why
the
they saying
ground
historic
system near
39
Kennedy.
pad
If all
39B?
goes well,
It's
Orion
not
will
historic.
orbit the moon
They haven't
farther
launched
than
any
any
missions.
of the Apollo missions
Well, they
were
have
built.
the space
Artemis
shuttle
2
missions
will have
from
Yeah,
the
but
astronauts
VBAC.
on board when it
39A
orbits
had
the moon,
the most of
and
them,
then
I think.
Artemis 3 and future
Yeah,
missions
A is
will
definitely more
land
historic.
the first woman and person of color
Yeah.
on the moon's surface. The last time a person stepped foot on the moon was 50 years ago for Apollo 17. And that was the last time a moon-bound rocket left the Vehicle Assembly Building.
Do you think Artemis 3 will it be the first woman and person? Could they do 2 in 1?
To see today's rollout. Wow, look at that crowd.
Sure.
You know, it sounds like an easy operation rollout, but really it's not as easy as it may seem.
That's
Together,
crazy.
the rocket and spacecraft stand
2012,
just taller than the
2012.
Statue of Liberty. As you can imagine,
Look
you
at that.
need a
Whoa,
pretty
that's a lot of
impressive
people.
machine to move it all. Well, take a look at your screen. We're going to show you what we call the crawler, because it will slowly and carefully crawl SLS and Orion the 4 miles to the launch pad. It's that piece of machinery you see on the bottom there carrying all of that.
The crawler.
It's 4 miles to the launch pad. Estimated arrival at the pad is 4:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. So again, 11 hours from now. We are taking this slow and easy. Whether you're here in person or with us virtually, we are so glad to have you here to
Slow and
celebrate
easy.
this historic moment. Over the next
4:30
hour, we'll have
a.m.
Grammy Award-winning artist Eddie Vedder with a song that honors the
That
Artemis
is,
missions.
that's
You will also hear
that's
from
11 and a half
NASA's
hours.
administrator. But first,
Well, no, I
I'm
won't be because
excited
of the
to
delay.
introduce the University of
So
Central
about 10 and a half
Florida's
hours.
Jam and Knights to perform our national anthem.
Yeah.
We have astronauts.
Right, and on the screen you can see Hyperspace AC's book collection. There was a comment about it. Yeah, only space books. Great collection.
Right, so NASA gets the national anthem played. SpaceX hires a mariachi band.
Yeah, indeed.
That'll roll that American flag on. Well, that is moving at a good pace, or is that just the way it's? I feel like... Whoa.
A lot of American flags on the screen.
That, yeah. The start going to be moving quite quickly. I don't know if it's just the way it was.
It's kind of peaking out already.
Yeah, it looks to be going decently fast.
Yeah, and I think we can get the audio back for the stream.
I
Yeah,
believe that structure that we're seeing there is that the launch control building?
I think so, yeah. Definitely looks
'cause-
like it with the tilted windows.
Yeah.
Returning to the
I
moon
remember
is a multinational
at one point
ambition
that launch
with
control building,
tireless
the
work
windows
of more than
where the consoles were pointed
17,000
away
people
from the
across
windows.
every state of our country
You'd
and
think it'd
also
be the other way
different
around.
countries around the world. SLS and Orion parts were
Yeah,
brought to Kennedy
maybe
Space
it's
Center
easier
via
for the eyes
trains,
not to look
planes,
outside
ships,
all the
and
time.
vehicles for
Yeah,
final assembly
not sure.
and high
I'm
beam.
blinded by the lights. Exactly. That's how it goes.
We are at Kennedy Space Center. Every piece of hardware necessary to return to the moon is
This
here.
NASA, I'm going by my methods of distribution here from business. We have so I'm going by my methods of distribution that I learned in business. They transported this start by road, rail, possibly sea, and air.
And yeah, hyperspace is it's really around 11 hours. That's a long rollout.
Yep. I'll be at school when it finally reaches the pad.
Yeah.
Max Q, that is about 8:30 a.m, yes. I have to get up for school at 7:45.
Yeah. And when it reaches the pad, I will be working. So
Yep.
I mean, I can probably watch it with the other eye.
Look at that
while
ward
doing some
healing
work.
system, wow.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so the access arm is attached to the mobile launch platform. That is, yeah, that's where the yeah, so that's where all the commodities get loaded into the vehicle and all the cooling, etc., and all the stuff this rocket needs to launch successfully.
Yeah. And Justin is saying orange rocket rolls.
Is that not what Delta does?
Orange rocket.
Yes, orange. Yeah,
orange
I can't wait.
rocket
I can't
good.
wait to see this out of the hangar.
Yeah. Yeah, since NASA is still playing some B-roll, I don't really think the rollout has started yet. But yeah, it's best to get all of the advertising for the Artemis missions, and I think we can get the audio back again and listen into the commentators.
In the making, this operation
Yeah.
with John Giles here leading the way. He oversees our crawler team with NASA's Exploration Ground Systems Program, or EGS, here at Kennedy. Thank you so much for finding the time to talk with us, John.
Very much welcome.
And I just got word that the crawler has crossed the threshold of the VAV. How does that feel? I'm so excited. You should be excited.
Must have just like give you
crossed the threshold.
Right. Yeah, talk to me about where we are in the operation. You know, there was a little bit of a delay today. Can you walk us through some of that?
So we had a couple little delays on some observers. We need many observers to watch us going out to make sure we don't hit anything. So as you can see from all those platforms up there, Sometimes it
Well,
takes
that
a
is
while
not
for people
nice
to get to a
hyperspace.
platform. So
We do not
that
want
held
it to
us up for a
tip
little
over,
bit,
although
and then
it'll
there
be
was a
slightly
piece
funny.
of environmental control system ductwork that was in the way. That was moved, and then we lifted up to 18 inches over the
Yeah,
mounts.
orange rocket
now
go
we're crawling.
And now
brrrr.
we're crawling. And I think it was about 5:47
Do you know what I
p.m.
mean? Orange
was the
rocket
first
goes
word we were moving.
crash.
Let's turn around and take a look.
Astro's
It
Liz
is
Lab, are we
crawling.
getting
You
arm
can see
shapes
that
yet?
it's moved quite a bit.
Yes.
How do you
Welcome,
feel
Astrolis.
knowing that you're a part of this team that's making this happen, and we're returning to the moon soon?
It's almost
And
indescribable.
Shabolsk.
I've waited a decade
Yep.
for this since we first started modifying this
Yeah, it's
crawler and getting
about
ready
$2
for
billion.
this. So we are ready. This is so exciting, and even though it's a bit of a long
$2
ride out to the
million
pad, I'm looking forward to every bit of it.
hydrogen tank
Let's talk about this crawler.
that could make out a bit
machine.
of
It was built in the
paper roll and some
60s.
tinfoil.
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
And the fact that we are still using that today
That
is a
crawler is
testament to
interesting.
all the people
Whoa.
that work on
Yep,
it, all the
Astro
people that
Liz,
maintain it.
are we getting the
We have lots of
rocket ice
experience
lollies
with
out
this. We
yet,
have
or the arm
lots of
shakes? Are we doing?
talented
Are we
technicians
are we
who keep
shaking
this
yet?
thing going and maintained. And that's the reason we're still using this piece of equipment that's 57 years old.
And we can see some of the video right here. I mean,
So,
this
Liz,
is the
what's
crawler
the
that took out,
flavor
we're
of
talking about
today's
shuttle
ice
missions, Apollo
cream?
missions. Talk to us about that.
I've got a
Every
guess. I
single
think it's mint.
mission. So launch pads 39A and B,
The
Could
chocolate
be.
chip
Apollo
mint.
missions, Skylab, all the shuttle missions, Constellation, and now SLS.
Lots of
Everything that
RP1
launched
flavoured
there
ice
rode
cream.
on one of our two crawlers.
She said that in
Wow.
astronaut shops.
It's the only way to get to the pad.
Yeah, gives me goosebumps thinking about it. The rich history here.
It's giving me goosebumps too.
You talk about the fact that there needed to be a number of.
They would say
modifications
some
to make
multi
sure that we
diver,
could support
but
SLS and Orion.
So at the end of shuttle,
Oh
they
no,
came to
Liz,
us
we are
and
not.
said, we have some new requirements for the
I'm
SLS
actually
program.
going
Bunch
to
of requirements, but the biggest one
I
was
go
have
you
quite
have to
school.
be
quite
able to
soon
increase the weight
because
of the
yeah,
enclosure.
I have work
So the original
tomorrow
design
morning.
was for 12 million pounds.
I'll
So we
stay
did a
for
lot
a
of
while.
modifications to the roller bearings, to the trucks,
Yeah.
to the
Oh no!
brakes,
No!
to
No! No! No!
our jacking,
No!
equalization,
Giro.
leveling
Cadbury.
cylinders,
No.
everything so we can now lift
Cadbury
18
cream
million
egg
pounds.
ice
That is a
cream.
lot of weight.
50%
No.
increase over
Wow.
the original design.
Is-
Wow. And you guys did that. You
The
made that
topic
happen.
of
You know, I
all
also
these
read
live
an
streams is me
interesting fact. At
disagreeing
the
with
top
ice
of
cream
the
flavours
crawler,
at
the
this point.
surface there is the
Why not?
size of a baseball diamond. That is unbelievable.
It was iron
The
brew ice
fact that
cream.
somebody
Horrible.
is
Not
driving
ice.
something
Iron
that
brew is a
size
good
right now.
drink, not an ice
So
cream.
that comes from the
Oreo ice cream's
bases
top
on a
class.
Major
I
League Baseball
agree.
field are
Cookie
90
dough
feet
ice cream
apart.
sounds nice.
So the
Yes.
four locations where we
that's good.
intersect
But
or where we mate
cream
with the
egg
mobile
ice
launcher
cream.
are 90
No.
feet apart. So that is an actual baseball infield. But
Yeah,
the crawler
I
Oh,
haven't
we
tried
can
that
start
one.
with
Wow.
it's
we can see some
131 feet
orange.
by 114
Big
feet,
traffic light.
weighs 6.6 million
Yep.
pounds.
Right. Top ice
So
cream flavors.
it's in talking with the drivers, it's kind of like driving a super tanker.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop
Yeah.
fast. It doesn't move fast.
Top
You
ice
have to
cream
think
flavours,
way
we
ahead when you're
have,
going to make turns.
let me think.
Everything is just
Cookie dough.
we need a lot
Yep.
of people to do that.
Oreo.
And a lot of
Just
people have
standard
been given
vanilla with
jobs
some
to make
chocolate
sure an
ice cream.
operation like this
Iron brew
goes
ice cream, that's
according to
horrible,
plan.
Miss
Can you talk
Producer.
to us
Don't
about
bring
some
that
of your
up.
jobs?
So other than the drivers, we have engineers
Well,
who are monitoring all the
my top
systems in the
choices
control
would
room.
be
We have
licorice,
technicians,
salty
electrical technicians,
licorice.
mechanical
Then
technicians,
that
diesel
would be
technicians,
white
Oh,
chocolate
Jesus.
raspberry.
mechanics. We have
No.
logistics personnel in case we need parts.
Seriously?
We have lots
Look
of
at it.
observers everywhere because the driver can't
Yes.
see everything as he's
The
driving.
best.
So we need other people to follow us and walk
No.
with us and tell us we need to start turning here.
Salty
we need to
ice
slow down
cream.
there.
Salty
Everybody
licorice
knows
ice
that.
No,
cream is
no,
the best.
no.
And they're all talking
And
to each other.
coffee.
It's
I
a
get
huge
if it's in like in
undertaking.
a liquid, you call
Absolutely.
that
And
ice
that's
cream
why,
float, but not in
obviously,
coffee.
It's going to take quite a bit to get to the launch pad, and we're looking at 11-hour journey by the
Right,
time
flip.
it finally reaches the launch pad. But
I
now
have
that
an
you've explained
opinion
it,
here,
I
and I would,
absolutely understand why it
although
has
this
to
is
take
meant to be
quite a bit.
rocket
Thank you so
coverage,
much,
I would like
John.
to join in.
Very welcome.
Good luck with the rest of rollout. I can't
McFlurry
wait to
and
see it on the
McFlurry
pad.
is one of the best ice creams for the
Now,
price
the
you
Artemis
can get.
program is named after Artemis of
If
Greek
the ice cream
mythology.
machine isn't
She was
broken.
Apollo's twin sister and
Yeah.
the goddess of the moon.
So that's
Yeah.
never
build on
really
the
broken here
achievements
though.
of those who came before us
Yeah,
and
Justine
create a
agrees with me.
permanent presence on the
Licorice
moon
is
and
delicious.
inspire our next giant leap to Mars. We are going.
Yeah, the space update.
No,
Yeah,
just get
too-
like one.
too bad.
Whenever Miko says licorice, just get one of those like swear beat buttons. When you hear L, you just go BAM!
Yeah. And the space update said he would try it, the salty licorice ice cream. And unfortunately, it's not that easy to ship over to the UK.
Yeah, Miko, have you tried Amber?
No, I have not.
Have you tried anything? Well, deep fried Mars bar, I suppose.
I mean, the British flavors are, many of them are very weird.
I don't know if we have this in England, but this is my edgy just right now that I'm using it as just. I'm just drinking some of my milk.
Yeah. Mr. Producer, can you make a poll about licorice? How do we do a poll? Create a poll. I found it. Right.
I just noticed, see my SLS model, the SRBs aren't actually attached.
Mm-hmm.
I've just got a main core, then kill Mr. Producer. So I have a core and just two SRBs which aren't attached, and I have the boat system on top.
Yeah, and now we do actually have the licorice poll. Looks like no answer is winning.
Right, cut me off.
Licorice lovers should go vote now.
I'll be back.
All right. Yeah, not looking good for the licorice. It's just 25% yes and 75% no. Well, I mean, that was not really a big surprise. In Finland, the poll would have been around 50-50. Yeah, it's kind of a Finnish thing, but not everyone in Finland likes licorice. But you know, if you offer some licorice, no one is going to gag on it, like someone. Yeah. Right, hyperspace is saying I've not ever had a Vindaloo curry. I did actually try Vindaloo like a week ago. Pretty good meal. Yeah, Vindaloo definitely isn't something that was common in Finland until the last years. We had some of our own traditional foods.
Outside of the vehicle
And the space update.
For the first time ever.
The space update. I actually tried it on another browser. I wasn't able to see the poll completely.
We will remember this day for a very,
So
very,
I'm not
very
sure
long
what
time.
was
Again, that's a wide shot we
the
have
problem
there.
with
You
it.
can see it outside again, that iconic vehicle assembly building. We have seen Apollo rockets
Astralis,
out of there.
that's
We have
pretty
seen
cruel.
shuttles come out of there. Now it is
I
time
mean,
for SLS
I will be
and
coming
Orion.
to the UK
Crews
this
are moving it
summer.
onto the pad today
Maybe
for a
I'll grab
critical
some
test that will
licorice.
take place in 2 weeks. And joining me now to talk about that test is Cliff Lanham. He is the Senior Vehicle Operations Manager, also with NASA's EGS at Kennedy. Cliff, what an exciting day.
You can't imagine for this team. We have been
Yeah,
working
we
really
may
hard
even
over the
do some
last
sort of
14 months
meetup
to get to this
in
point,
the UK.
and
That would
the team is
probably
beyond
be around
excited. We're ready to
July,
get out to the pad.
first half
It's
of the
21 million
July.
pounds of hardware
It
between the
could be
crawler, the mobile
close
launcher, and the
to
Artemis
some of
headed
you,
out to the pad. So
but
we're
that's
ready to go.
something we will
This must mean so much to your team. I
announce
mean, you
later.
guys are in charge of really everything, right? Talk to me about what EGS is in your
So
role.
EGS Exploration Ground Systems is one of the 3 sister programs that's responsible for getting us back to the moon. And from our standpoint, we are responsible for development of the pad, the mobile launcher, the crawler, and doing all the facilities and the ground support equipment that's responsible for supporting build up and testing of the rocket. So we do that, but in addition to that, we're responsible for operations as far as assembly, test, and checkout of the rocket. We also are responsible for launching the rocket, and then we're also responsible for recovery of the crew module out in the Pacific after splashdown.
That's a lot. So this is the start of a lot that we are looking forward to. Yes. That's wonderful. And now the rocket is on its way to historic launch pad 39B. Yeah, a lot of rich history there.
Right. Oh, absolutely. 39B, actually, that's where Apollo 10, the precursor for Apollo 11, the first moon landing, started. We've done 3 Skylab launches from there, 51 shuttle launches.
Yeah, as the hungry astronaut saying, very impressive.
A lot of action has occurred out there at Pad 39B.
So it's headed out there for a wet dress rehearsal. Can you tell people what that is?
Absolutely. Wet dress rehearsal is a major test for us where we're actually going to load over 700,000 gallons of propellant.
Hey, angry astronaut, when are you going to blow your Boeing mug?
Stages, so the SLS and the ICPS in this case. The team will run through a countdown. So they'll start about 8 hours prior to what is called T0. And they'll actually go through their procedures for a countdown. They'll get down below a minute, and then they'll recycle that count to practice that as well, up to 10 minutes, and then they'll count back down to less than 10 seconds when they'll stop the test, and that'll be the end of the test, drain the vehicle, and evaluate the information and see how we did.
Yeah, so you guys have to have a successful wet dress rehearsal, right, before we can announce a date for Artemis 1 launch?
Correct. So what they'll do, they'll spend a week
90,000 subs.
evaluating data.
That's
They'll know pretty
really
soon
getting
during the
close.
test, hey, we're meeting our objectives. But it will take probably 1 to 2 weeks before they'll be ready to say, hey, the test is fully successful and we're ready to start thinking about
An
setting
intervention, huh?
Okay. So today is a big day because we are getting to that final test that hopefully soon we will know when Artemis 1 launches.
Absolutely. We're very excited about it. And again, this is the next big milestone for us, getting to the moon. So.
Yeah. Well, good luck with everything. Good luck with the wet dress. Good luck with the rest of the rollout. And I'm excited. I hope you are too.
I am too. Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, things are bad when someone says intervention.
More and more of the crawler, the mobile launcher, SLS, Orion. Wow, look at that.
Okay, so a solid motor Boeing cup. That seems like a good idea.
That's holding up the rocket and the capsule. So the mobile launcher, or ML, is what fully assembled and processed SLS and Orion. The crawler is going to leave both the ML and the integrated rocket on the pad because the ML will supply SLS and Orion with things like power, communications, and fuel before launch. And then SLS will lift off from the ML. And when we fly crew on later Artemis missions, they will use a walkway called the Crew Access Arm on the mobile launcher to get into Orion. Now, like the crawler, there are a lot of people on the mobile launcher right now. There are about 65 people.
But I am back.
Had
a little bit to eat. We are good.
Like engineers,
what have I missed? Oh, it's rolled further and we are fully at the VAB now.
This is really interesting. They will
Yeah, someone should give the rocket a speeding ticket.
All right, how about we check back in with the crowd outside? We had some rain yesterday, but luckily the weather today is
And yeah, angry astronaut, after all this frustration, it's good to see some progress at last. Well said. Finally.
Are out here, many of them Kennedy Space Center.
It's crazy. I wonder how many people are watching. Well, that crawl. You can see how slowly those treads are turning. Imagine the pressure. If you saw the steering wheel in those crawlers, man, they're tiny.
Those out here today, it is a
Yeah.
very
Imagine the
blessed
pressure
opportunity to get to see
of
this
driving one
outside
of those,
the
man,
VAB.
driving a 2 billion
Coming up,
rocket
we're
on your
going to
back.
hear from Janet Petro. She's our Kennedy
Yeah.
Space Center director, and
That's
after
some
her,
pressure.
we'll have NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. But first, another special musical performance, this time returning to
Wonder
its
if he just
roots
like
and
I
homage
wonder
to
if the guy in the
Artemis,
cab just wants to
performed
go
by the
like
University of
foot
Central
pedal to
Florida's
metal and it'll go a
Symphonic
grand
Brass
old
and
0.9
Percussion Band.
miles per hour instead of 0.8. What we can see as well is that crew access as it looks like on the Orion capsule. We're looking all good.
Yeah. Yeah. The SLS is really quite massive.
It's also like sea shuttle that was like small, and I wouldn't say it was small, but it was like kind of stumpy, as I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, they did have some issues with the RS-25s. There's a faulty engine controller, which had to be replaced and obviously tested again. That could cause weird gimbling patterns, which have caused a really big problem on ascent.
Yeah, hyperspace. I totally agree. Metallica would have been better choice.
May I ask what I missed in chat while I was away? I see intervention. We're looking good. Miko, what have you done that requires an intervention?
I mean, I'm just an innocent guy eating licorice. That shouldn't be a problem, but looks like it is.
I ate crepe also.
Okay, I think I'm going to create another poll.
NASA 1. Why is it, sorry? I don't like Iron Brew though, that's the thing. Yeah, I like Iron Brew. I don't like Iron Brew ice cream. I don't know what. We just talk about licorice or Iron Brew as a thing.
Right, so I made another
Wait,
poll.
I need access to this poll. Do we need an intervention from Miko? Yes, we do. Vote yes.
100% yes.
It worked even though I didn't even vote. Thank you. 2 votes, yes. Yes, we're getting there.
Things are getting serious.
Yes, I voted yes. Is Miko just going to get into this chat and vote no just to try and save himself?
I have not done it yet. I mean, I could do that. It's last release's mom is saying, "Bring on Eddie Vedder."
Am I too young to understand that? Mr. Producer, can I get a definition, please? I need a definition.
Yeah, Angry Astronaut, that they spent too much on SLS, had to skimp on the band. Yep,
right.
Indeed. Yep, the band is cost plus.
Yep.
If they get paid.
They could have got Elton John to just sit and continuously sing Rocket Man. I just fully. Oh, we've got a speech. Speech.
Joining us today with our workforce, our loved ones are joining us out here today, as many of you also have made many sacrifices over the years to get to this milestone.
Yep.
This year,
looks like
Kennedy Space
there's
Center
an intervention coming up.
years supporting America's space program. And as we take some time to reflect on the 6 decades of science and exploration, it really seems fitting that
we can't
look
afford a
ahead,
band, so the
celebrate
engineers
this
have to learn an
milestone,
instrument.
our
Just
first
like
step to
a
returning
propulsion
to the
engineer
moon.
just playing the
You know,
trumpet.
every single vehicle that has carried humans
Yeah,
beyond
I'll be happy
bounds
to
of
see the
low Earth
banners.
orbit has undergone integration and testing
Yeah.
in that vehicle assembly building, crawled down this roadway and launched right here from the Kennedy Space Center. Tonight,
Right,
after
I'm going to go
years
for
of
juice here.
meticulous planning,
Well, that's all right,
development,
are you for all? Are
integration,
you
testing,
for
the
juice? Like,
space launch
are you
system
full
made of
fat? Are
which
you
the Orion
diet? Or
spacecraft will
are
continue
you like
this
Pepsi
proud
Max
tradition,
kind of?
leaving the VAB as you see in front of you to make its way to the pad
Well,
for the very first time.
I don't
And just as all eyes are on
drink
the SLS
sodas
tonight
that
as it
often,
makes
but
its journey,
I
in a
would
few
say
short
Pepsi
weeks,
Max is
all eyes are going to
the
be on the
best
sky
tasting.
as
Pepsi
it
Max
rocks the
Cold is
space
really good.
coast and takes its maiden
Yeah.
flight around the moon and then comes back. You know, 60 years ago, Kennedy Space Center was established to meet the challenge of landing a man
Should we
on
create
the
like
moon
a civilian
and returning
space
him
Iron
safely
Brew
to Earth.
sharing charity?
Through
So
Artemis,
basically,
we will see the
if
first
someone
woman and the
requires
first
Iron
person
Brew
of
in
color
our
on the
country,
lunar
we provide
surface.
Iron Brew.
We'll develop and implement the science
It's
necessary
like a
for a
need.
long-term human presence in deep space, and we will utilize
Yeah.
this knowledge to prepare for future
I
human
think that was
missions to Mars. Today, we
one
honor
Scott
that
Manley
legacy.
also
For
likes.
those who paved the way before
Fly
us,
safe.
and as we blaze a new trail
Yeah.
and contribute to a new chapter in our history of our nation and of this
No,
agency.
accent was
It's
definitely on
now my
point.
pleasure to introduce you tonight to
Yeah,
someone who has served
hyperspace
in public
quoting Carl
office for
Sagan
over
would
4
be a good idea.
decades. First in the state legislature, then
Why
as a
do I
US
not know any
congressman,
of these
then as a
people?
state treasurer. He was elected 3 times to the
I'm
United
too
States Senate
young to understand
and
these
Senate
jokes.
and represents
Well,
my home
you
state of
definitely
Florida
should
for
find out
18
about
years.
Carl
And in
Sagan.
1986, he flew on the 24th
Oh.
flight of the space shuttle where he
Should
served
know
as
about
a
Carl
payload
Sagan.
specialist on
Yes, you should.
STS-61 aboard Space Shuttle Columbia. His passion and his commitment to the agency and its mission are helping NASA to continue to advance the frontiers of knowledge and exploration. So please help
Did
me
you see
in join in
the
welcoming
person that the
our
Parker
NASA
Space Probe
Administrator,
was named
Senator
after
Bill
died
Nelson.
yesterday? Or was it the day before?
Ah, okay, so yeah, I did see the news, but I
Ladies
didn't
and
connect
gentlemen,
it instantly.
the world's most
Yeah, the guy that
powerful
I forgot his full name, but
rocket ever, right here.
okay, hyperspace. I'm sorry. Lesson learned. I
And it's back to the moon
apologize.
and then on to Mars.
Should we really take drama for all these tones
Let's
in
hear
ears?
it for the musicians at the University of
Like make
Central
stuff drama.
Florida.
Oh, there is the man himself.
I want to give a shout out to the more than 24 members of the crawler transporter team. They are transporting SLS out to the launch
Oh yeah,
pad.
we need to listen to it.
And the team is led by Bob Myers, who is at the wheel of the crawler.
Wait, is Nelson's mic just not
Across
working?
the nation are sacred sites that capture the spirit of America's character. And one of those places is right here,
Fair
the
man.
Kennedy Space Center. At these
Nelson is
launch
making it
pads,
tinny.
remarkable individuals achieve unthinkable things.
Wonder if someone's just
60
talking and
years
Nelson's
ago,
step back.
An American
Step
pioneer
back.
propelled upwards to the heavens from Launch Complex 14. And that legendary explorer is John Glenn. That spacecraft, Friendship 7, orbited the Earth 3 times. And that was the day that America's space program went full throttle. It gave way to the Apollo generation. That generation not only landed the first humans on the moon, it provided the spark that fuels today's multi-billion-dollar satellite industry. It encouraged young visionaries and kicked off a technology revolution. The modern computing era is one example. And we are very privileged to have one of those Apollo astronauts with us, General Tom Stafford, Apollo 10. Today, a new generation, not the Apollo generation, but it's the Artemis generation, is preparing to reach new frontiers. This generation will return astronauts to the moon, and this time, we will land the first woman and the first person of color on the surface to conduct groundbreaking science. NASA's Artemis program will pave the way for humanity's giant leap, future missions to Mars. There's no doubt that we are in a golden era of human space exploration, discovery, and ingenuity in space. And it all begins with Artemis 1. The Space Launch System is the only rocket capable of sending humans into deep space. It's the most powerful rocket in the world. And during liftoff, it will produce 8.8 million pounds of thrust, propelling the Orion spacecraft about 240,000 miles to the moon. And Orion will venture farther than any spacecraft built for humans that has ever flown humans. It will stay in space longer than any spacecraft designed for astronauts that has ever done without docking to a space station. And after a 3-week journey of over 1 million miles, Orion will come home faster and hotter than any vehicle has before. And it wouldn't be possible without all of you here today. We are joined by thousands of members of the NASA family. It's because of you that we are here today. Our workforce has been a relentless spirit. We imagine, we build, we never stop pushing the envelope of what is possible. I often say that at NASA, the impossible is made possible. Artemis 1 will demonstrate NASA's commitment to and capacity to extend humanity's presence on the moon and beyond. But this mission is not just cementing NASA's leadership in space, it's strengthening America's small businesses. It's supporting America's universities. It's showing the might of America's scientists, mathematicians, and technicians. Artemis 1 is possible because of the contributions from all 50 states. The program is an economic engine for America. In 2019 alone, it generated $14 billion and supported 70,000 good-paying jobs across the country. But to lead in the 21st century, America must not go alone. We must accomplish our goals together. Artemis represents global ambitions and participation from 5 international partners. The European Space Agency provides the European Service Module, the powerhouse of the Orion spacecraft that provides electricity, propulsion, thermal control, air, water to Orion in space. This is a critical partnership that not just for Artemis 1, but for the future Artemis missions as well. And that's just the beginning. Thanks to the international collaboration, 3 so-called passengers will fly on Orion. Zohar and Helga, named by the Israel Space Agency and the German Aerospace Center, are 2 female mannequins. Their jobs are to provide data on radiation levels during the mission. The 3rd passenger is a male mannequin whose name was decided by more than 300,000 people in a naming contest. And his name is Commander Munikin Campos, honoring Arturo Campos, the late member of the NASA family. Arturo helped bring the crew of Apollo 13 safely back to Earth. And a surprise, Snoopy in his orange spacesuit will hitch a ride. We're also taking advantage of additional space on SLS to launch several CubeSats in cooperation with the Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency and the Italian Space Agency.
Shep would have been the best
Humanity's
option.
drive to explore the cosmos is not bound by border. Discovery strengthens diplomacy. This mission, this program, will build a global alliance that explores deep space for the benefit of all. And of course, Artemis 1 will be a major step, but our journey is far from over. This will be the first in a series of increasingly complex missions. In 2024, for the first time since Apollo 8, astronauts will return to the moon on Artemis 2. The astronauts will fly in lunar orbit, venturing farther into space than any humans have ever before. And these are not a series of isolated missions. Each will be a groundbreaking complement and component to build presence on and around the moon and eventually beyond. And none of this is easy. Nothing NASA dares to achieve ever is. But as we have shown with this pandemic, NASA knows how to press forward. Artemis personifies why NASA needs continuity of purpose.
But hopefully also, Chip.
Our missions have not achieved and were not achieved just by a single administration, but across many administrations. And I'm proud President Biden has shown strong support for these missions. And every breakthrough should be seen as a triumph for our country and all of humanity. And when the next humans walk on the moon, I hope that every single child around the world, I hope they see themselves in this new generation of explorers. NASA's history has become intertwined with the never-ending American story. The sky has never been the limit for NASA. This is our opportunity to make limitless potential of every American. It's past time to bring down the barriers that limit opportunity in underserved and underrepresented communities. It's time to anchor fairness as a core in every component in every NASA mission. Artemis missions should show every child that they can dream it. If they can dream it, they can be it. And perhaps they will one day join the NASA family as a technician or a mathematician. Maybe they'll walk on the moon or be the pioneers who venture onward to Mars. This is what NASA does best. We unify, we discover, we inspire. And from this sacred and historical place, humanity will soon embark on a new era of exploration. Aboard this spacecraft will be a flash drive. It will hold the names of over 1 million individuals from around the world. That flash drive will contain more than names. It will represent our stories, who we are. The child who imagines themselves soaring in the skies. The student who burns the midnight oil at the library so they can build a rocket and a spacecraft like this one. the NASA employee who gazes up at the moon every night, knowing that their work will soon return humankind to the lunar surface. And when this monster rocket lifts off, it will carry all of our greatest hopes in the heavens. Every single person who dreams of discoveries will see many more in our lifetime. I want to thank all of you, all of these workers, the whole space team, the family of NASA, and may God bless you and the Artemis to the moon and then to Mars. God bless you.
Yeah. All right. Now that we have listened to the speech, we'll take some questions if you have any. And
Go ahead.
if there's no questions at the moment, I will be leaving soon to get some sleep. But I will be here for a few minutes more.
All by myself.
Yeah, I will leave you alone.
Yeah. Mr. Producer gave an answer in chat. Host chat. Yeah, if you have some questions, we'll happily answer them.
Yeah, Max Q is asking, asking Mr. Producer to join.
He hasn't done it in 2 years. Well, he hasn't done it mostly in 2 years. I don't think he'll do it now.
Yeah, well, I think I will be going to sleep now. There has not been any questions. So,
sad.
But Jack will continue to host this stream for some time.
Yep, I should. Yep, I will go for, I hope, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, right, we have another question. Don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. Right, let's get out of the way then. Starship at SLS.
Starship. Always.
Win!
All right. That's it for me. I've been Mikko, the host of Deep Dive. And yeah, see you another episode or another stream. Yeah, I enjoyed being here. And for now, you will be hosted by Jack. Bye-bye.
What did I just see fly by the camera there? And just like that, I'm all by myself. Thank you, Miko, for joining us. We may get another host to join me in due course, so I don't wobble. Yeah, I do believe that lad just did tripped out. At first I thought he was doing a Naruto run past the camera. I wouldn't be surprised, is the thing. Would not be surprised. I'm starting to fully believe that Victor Glover will probably be one of the first people on Artemis 2. Because he's got like the most publicity in my opinion. That's what I just think anyway. Yeah, I'll be here for another hour and 20 minutes, I would say. till 12 o'clock my time. That is probably my cut-off time, so I can have a little bit of chill time before I go to sleep. No problemo. Yeah, any questions in chat, just let me know. I'll do my best to answer them. That worm logo on the SLB is beautiful. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I personally will be Victor Glover, one of the first people. Okay, Tortinos, hot pizza rolls, that's how it goes. I've got an idea. I'm just trying to think of the best way to do it. Right. Let me think how to do this. I need Mr. Producer to cut my feet there. Do. Yeah, so we should be able to do that. I'm just personally thinking if I get my SLS model down, I could actually show you how this rocket operates. If you could put it full screen with
A nod to this moment. Getting here was not easy. It was the work of thousands of dreamers and doers across the globe. Thanks to their invincible spirit, we are on our way to the launch pad, then the moon, then Mars. Because we are curious, we are capable, we are Artemis. Good night.
Let's go.
can you put it full screen if you can? Yeah. No problem. Oh, Jesus, that's it, but I'll go down slightly. Right, so this is my SLS model right here. We have the two SLBs. These will go off the vehicle, I believe, about 3 minutes into flight. These produced 75% of the thrust upon liftoff. At the bottom of the rocket, we have the 4 engines right down there. Those are took from Star X space shuttles. We also have the big orange tank right here. This holds hydrogen and all the fuel for the rocket, and oxidizer, of course. Up here we have where Orion will be. We have the boat system right here, and we have the Orion capsule right here. This is the first time I tried this model down in a while. That's why it's not got dusty, to be honest. Put me back on web host. Well, bottom. Yep. Of course, yeah. Imagine like an extra light payload SLS. No SRBs. Looks so weird. Probably wouldn't even be able to carry a peanut because of just the liftoff weight with all the fuel in that. Up there, no problemo. Oh yeah, I forgot the ICPS. The ICPS. That is, I believe this is down here, but that's just white coloured. So that'll be like down here, down this area. So, welcome to Astro Lizzie's mum. Where are we here? I'm just trying to figure out here. As always, thank you for watching the stream. We're here, we're watching this rollout, of course. I have like right up here, I have the big collection. I hope to use that Starship one in a future stream on the Orbital stream, so I can show off parts of Starship. That is obviously the capsule going Orion going round the moon. Oh, I just delay. I'm just checking there. So yes, SLS has left the VAB. Mr. Producer, we have a question for you, and I'll refer your answer to the audience. Do you believe SLS is more or less significant than Starship, and why? Right, he believes that both have an equal place in the next 10 years of spaceflight. Yep. Oh, it's my personal opinion on that question is yeah. Ooh, NASA stopped. Yep. Yeah, but it's obviously not commentated. Right, my personal opinion is SLS is overpriced when there's better alternatives, in my opinion, for the price. Or there will be better alternatives. Well, yes. Right. Well, since we have, well, we do have SLS, unless no, not no. Why am I saying SLS? Are we allowed to use NSF or Everyday Astronaut? We are not allowed copyright for them, so we cannot use their footage as of now. So, put my full screen. I am about actually, I am, yeah. I just looked at the wrong screen now. I guess that's us for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Oh, is it Storm Jasper? Is it launching actually? Well, this rocket has go to the pad for a wet dress rehearsal. That means that they'll go to they'll fuel the vehicle up to T-10 seconds and simulate the countdown and all significant milestones within that. After up to T-10 second mark, we'll then detank the vehicle, roll it back to the VAB, remove all test equipment, and hopefully we'll see a launch in the next few months. But as always, let me put on my camera there. Thank you for joining me on stream. Thank you to Miko as always. Thank you to everyone watching, and we hope to see you on future launches soon. Good night. Have a good day. Ad Astra.